The first thing I wanted to say is thank you ever so much for coming and being part of Vivid Live at the Opera House again.
Thanks for having us.
It's an immense honour.
Well, it's lovely to be back, and always very special to play here.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting performance, this one. Here you are for Vivid at Robert Smith's request, playing the 25th anniversary of Dirty 3. How does it feel to have sort of another person invite you to look back on your past and bring it into the present?
I personally didn't realise it was that long ago, and then when that was pointed out, I don't really think back in that respect with things. I prefer to just think of momentum going forward. It's kind of great, though, that people remember it 25 years later. And for Robert Smith to remember it was particularly awesome because he's so awesome.
Well, one of the things I found interesting about the 25th anniversary, and from reading past interviews pretty much with all of you, was this sense that you don't make the Dirty Threes music for your listening pleasure. You make it for the making pleasure.
With this record, I didn't even want to listen to it because I was so amazed that we'd made a record. We just played through our set that we had. We all went out and got really hammered the night before to see U2 because our friends were supporting them. I slept on the veranda of my brother's house, and I don't know where Jim ended up, but we got just rat-ass drunk and then went into the studio and had half a day lost, I think, because we were so hungover.
If I think about the studio, that's what I think about that, how sick I felt.
Yeah, everyone was really sick, and we just sat up, and Phil had just done Silverchair Tomorrow.
Right.
He'd just recorded that, and so we were trying to catch the zeitgeist of Silverchair's momentum, and we figured that we could do that. We could do that with a bunch of snappy kind of numbers. I love Silverchair, by the way. So we got Phil in, and I think we recorded in the evening and the next day, and then Phil mixed it that evening. It was done literally.
Just all done live.
Yeah, it was all done live.
It is our live set at the time, and we played it like we were playing a live set.
The album sounds like still a very dramatic, consistent statement of intent.
It is very disciplined in a way, you know. It's clear what we're trying to do, and it's come through more than I would. You know, I was happy with how much it came through on the record.
Trying to make these sort of songs exist without a lyrical basis, to make them narrative, to make some sort of thing going on. It always felt like there was some story being told with the music. One of the big things about Dirty 3, it was about, I guess in a way, trying to kind of like the good and the bad side of love. And love is a radical concept. Broken hearts and kind of what. I remember the first time I spoke on stage was describing my day, and people just pissed themselves laughing, and I told the truth. It was like my girlfriend tried to kill herself, she'd been banging up in her hand, blah blah blah, like this, and everybody started laughing, and and it was funny. It was actually funny, like good comedy. Good comedy is real.
Truth.
Yeah, it's the truth.
There's an inherent sort of dramatic tension and kind of oppositional forces.
That's what we worked on, definitely. That was the way we kind of operated. Musical tension, interplay, and to make it work without lyrics, I guess.
But the lack of lyrics, I don't really buy that, because it's like a lot of music I listen to, it doesn't mean you have to have lyrics to make it of substance, or to make it doesn't validate it anymore. I mean,
let's give it a focus, though.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
But I can listen to a song in Greek, Chinese, or whatever, and if it moves me, it moves me. I don't really care, and it's quite often the lyrics can put me off because I'm listening to somebody's banging on about something that I don't really care about. So, you know, I kind of, I don't know. There's always, I think there's a sort of, there's a like way we sort of push it to another area, music without lyrics, and I don't really think it's appropriate.
I think we had a lot of confidence in what we were doing. We resisted, you know, getting people singing and all that sort of stuff. No, there was
never any discussion about that. And there was also the element of risk that was being taken was always so kind of fantastic, you know, to know that you'd pull up in a bar and there'd be 5 people and like 3 of them would want to fight you and the other 2 would just be like staring at you dumbfounded. But
I mean, we got banned from Sydney. You'll never
never play this
town again.
Never play Kinsellas again.
Yeah.
whatever we had, we'd throw into the car. Whoever hadn't lost their license or whoever lost their car for drink driving or something like that. And we'd just throw everything in the car and head down there, pile of speed or something like that.
Yeah, thanks for carrying the junkie around.
Yeah, I carried the junkie around for so fucking long. We were just like touring around the country, and we we had this incredibly close bond, I think, like as friends and stuff like that. It was really like we were doing this thing just for ourselves, really, that was kind of so exciting. And kind of, just made you feel alive.
It feels very uncontrived and very pure and quite primal. And
Well, we were just left alone, basically. We were left alone to do what we wanted to do, and somehow we just sort of, for every band like us, there's probably like 100 that didn't get through, but we were just left alone and, and did what we did and just found our way through, but primarily off the support of a lot of great people. I've been very blessed to work with incredible people. Jim and Mick and Nick the Bad Seeds, like every person I've worked with has pushed me to do something that feels beyond my limits. And if I'm any good, it's because of the people around me. And I have acknowledged that from day one, and I still acknowledge that.
I wonder about being hard on, critical of your own work, and is there a sense of trust over time?
I've always lived in fear of it all stopping. Pretty much like every time I go in, it's like, is this the day it all stops? And when it does happen, that it does stop, you panic, and then it makes you stronger, and then you kind of go, okay.
I just wake up every day and want to make something, and that's never gone away. It's always been the same, pretty much. I listen back to that record and I remember that time, and I don't feel like I've changed that much. I think I'm probably a better guitar player now.
For me, I can draw a line pretty much through from day one until now. The way that I feel about getting something to a certain point where I feel like it's okay to let go, and I have to feel that what I've done is the best thing that I've done, the best thing that I'm capable of, and it's the best thing that I have done. And that allows me to move forward. That's not about being kind on myself, it's a physical feeling that I know. And I have to have that feeling about everything that I've ever worked on. And if I don't, then that's my kind of compass. And it's when ideas start forming that I feel this shift that happens within me, that I feel that something is happening for the greater good. And I didn't know what that was for a long, long time. There might be an expression for it when you move to tears. But like I have to feel like I'm falling in love with something, and then I can let it go. And it's something that it's the only thing I have that I can rely on. That and the other people around me.
I was reading kind of other interviews with yourselves where you've heard your music described as sad, and I've always found Dirty Three's music very kind of joyous in a fierce, kind of alive, vital, primal way.
Once you make it, it's out of your hands, like people will take it as they want, like you hopefully want it to be as honest as you can do. I mean, I think that's what we were always about, like being honest, like about what we were doing, and not trying to make, if it was sad or dramatic music or whatever, it was just like all that we knew how to do, really. And so we did that, and every time we played a major chord, it just sounded wrong and we didn't really know what to do with it. So in a way, the vibrations found us too, like there was a thing that we'd do, you'd play it, and that would feel right, and it would make the cogs shift, It's really extraordinary to think that people care about this record 25 years later. That's fantastic, like that's so kind of, it's a beautiful thing.